You are one bad storm away from having no access to clean drinking water, a flood, a grid failure, a broken main, or a contaminated well, and the store shelves are empty inside of 4 hours every single time. The filter straw you bought has a lifespan measured in gallons, and then it is done. The Brita pitcher on your counter stops working the moment the cartridge runs out, and a replacement cartridge requires a functioning supply chain to reach your door. What happens when that supply chain is not functioning? What happens when the grid has been down for 6 days and the store has been empty for 5? I'm going to show you what people did for thousands of years before Brita existed, and what the water filter industry spent decades making sure you forgot completely. My name is Jack Mercer, and this channel exists to put that knowledge back in your hands. Subscribe before we go further, because what I am about to walk through is fully functional, not a trick, not a theory, not a temporary fix. A permanent water filtration system you can build from the ground with $0 and rebuild anywhere on Earth as long as mud and fire exist. The filter companies know this method works because they copied it. Every ceramic water filter sold for $80 or $90 at any outdoor retailer is a manufactured version of exactly what I'm about to show you how to build for free. The material is fired clay, and the principle is simple: physics. Water molecules pass slowly through the microscopic pores in fired ceramic walls. Sediment bacteria and biological contaminants are too large to pass through those pores. They stay trapped on the outer wall surface while clean water collects on the inside. Brita uses activated carbon in a plastic housing and sells you a replacement schedule. LifeStraw uses hollow fiber membrane technology and gives you a gallon limit before disposal. Both of those products depend entirely on your continued purchasing to keep working. A hand-built clay pot filter depends on nothing except your hands and a fire. Now I need to be honest with you about something important here. There is way too much to cover in a single video. The complete clay filtration system with every clay type variation and long-term setup is waiting for you inside the survivor's vault. I could not fit all of that here, even if this ran 3 hours. Scan the QR code in the top left corner of your screen right now, or click the first link in the description below this video. But stay here, because what I show you next changes everything. Ceramic water filtration is one of the oldest technologies in human history. Ancient Egyptian communities used fired clay vessels to store and filter drinking water. Records from 3,000 years ago describe layered clay and sand filtration systems. Indigenous communities across North America used similar fired clay water management. The principle was understood and applied long before chemistry had a name for it. Then came the industrial era, and with it, a familiar pattern. A naturally occurring process that anyone could replicate was studied isolated and packaged. Manufacturers took fired clay, added a controlled pore size, and called it a ceramic filter. They gave it a brand name, a price point, and a shelf position at every outdoor retailer. The underlying material is still clay. The underlying process is still heat and porosity. The only thing that changed is who profits, and whether you know how to do it yourself. Now let me walk you through the build process from the very beginning. Step 1 is sourcing your clay, and this is where most people assume there is a barrier. There is not one. Natural clay is present in the soil of nearly every region across North America. Look for exposed soil along riverbanks, stream cuts, eroded hillsides, and road cuts. True clay soil has a smooth, dense plastic quality when wet and holds its shape when pressed. Pick up a handful of moist soil and roll it between your palms into a thin coil. If the coil holds together without cracking at the bend, you have usable clay material. If it crumbles and falls apart, you need to find a deposit with higher clay content. Most regions have accessible clay within a short walk of any natural water source. That is not a coincidence, because clay and water historically appear near each other. Collect your raw clay in any container available and bring it back to your work area. You will need enough material to form a pot with walls roughly 1/4 inch thick. For a filter vessel, holding about a gallon, plan on collecting around 4 to 5 pounds. Step 2 is preparing the clay mixture, and this is the critical step that most guides skip. Raw, natural clay fired by itself produces dense walls with very small inconsistent pores. The filtration rate would be too slow to be practical, and the walls may crack under heat. The solution used by traditional communities for centuries is organic burnout material. You mix fine combustible material into the raw clay before shaping and before firing. Sawdust, rice hulls, dry grass clippings, or finely shredded leaves all work for this purpose. During firing, that organic material burns completely away inside the clay wall. What remains is a network of consistent microscopic pores running through the entire wall. This is called a burnout mixture, and it is what gives your filter its actual function. The standard ratio used in both traditional and modern humanitarian ceramic filter programs is roughly 50% clay to 50% combustible organic material by volume. Knead the two materials together thoroughly until the mixture is completely uniform. Work it like dough for at least 10 full minutes to eliminate any pockets or dry clumps. Cover it and let it rest for several hours so moisture distributes evenly throughout. Step 3 is shaping your filter vessel, and there are two functional forms to know. The first is the pot form, which produces a vessel with walls on all sides and a base. The second is the disc or dome form, which filters through a flat or curved surface only. For a first build, the pot form is more forgiving and produces better consistent results. Begin by pressing a thick base layer roughly a 1/4 inch deep into the bottom of a mold. A plastic bucket, a smooth wooden bowl, or a rounded rock all work as shaping forms. Build your walls upward using the coil method, adding material in horizontal rings. Each ring should be pressed firmly against the one below it to eliminate air gaps. Smooth the inner and outer surfaces using a wet cloth or your damp fingers as you work. Consistent wall thickness is more important than a perfect surface appearance. Thin spots in the wall will crack under heat, and thick spots will reduce filtration rate. Take your time with this stage because the quality of the walls determines everything. Step 4 is drying, and this is where impatience destroys more builds than anything else. Allow the shape vessel to dry slowly in shade, away from direct sun and away from wind. Rapid drying causes surface cracking that will not close during firing. Slow even drying over 24 to 48 hours allows the clay to contract evenly. The pot will lighten noticeably in color as it approaches fully dry. Do not rush this stage and do not apply any external heat to accelerate the process. A fully dried pot feels completely rigid with no cool or damp spots anywhere on the surface. Firing comes next, and that is where the real transformation happens. Firing is the stage that converts raw clay into functional ceramic. Before firing, your pot is fragile and water-soluble and completely useless as a filter. After firing, it becomes a hard, durable, porous material that water passes through slowly. The organic burnout material burns away during the stage, leaving the pore network behind. You do not need a kiln, you do not need special equipment, and you do not need high heat. A well-built open fire, reaching sustained temperature is sufficient for a field firing. Build your fire base using hardwood, which burns hotter and more consistently than softwood. Allow the fire to build to a solid bed of coals before introducing the clay vessel. Place the dry pot near the fire, initially not directly in it for the first 15 minutes. This final preheat stage drives off any remaining moisture that drying may have missed. Moisture trapped inside clay walls when heat is applied rapidly will turn to steam. That steam expands and cracks or shatters the vessel before it has a chance to fire. Patient preheating is what separates a successful firing from a cracked failure. After preheating, move the vessel directly into the coals and build the fire around it. Maintain steady heat for a minimum of 2 hours with consistent fuel added throughout. You are looking for the vessel to glow a faint orange-red in low light conditions. That color indicates the clay has reached sufficient temperature for basic ceramic conversion. Allow the fire to die down naturally without removing the pot or adding water to cool it. Thermal shock from rapid cooling will crack a vessel that survived the entire firing perfectly. Let everything cool together over several hours until the pot can be handled comfortably. A successfully fired clay filter pot has a clean ringtone when tapped with a fingernail. A dull thud indicates incomplete firing, and the vessel may be too dense for good filtration. Step 5 is testing your filter before trusting it with your drinking water. Fill the fired pot with clean water and observe the rate of passage through the walls. Water should drip through at a slow but visible rate when the pot is full. Too fast means pore size may be too large and filtration quality is reduced. Too slow means the walls may be too dense and the organic burnout did not fully complete. A useful benchmark from humanitarian ceramic filter programs is roughly 1 to 3 liters passing through per hour under normal gravity pressure with a full vessel. If your rate falls in that range, your filter is functioning correctly. If it is too slow, try a second firing to ensure complete burnout of the organic material. Step 6 is the complete 2-container system that makes this practical for daily use. You need your fired clay filter pot and any clean container large enough to sit beneath it. The filter pot sits elevated above the collection container using any stable support. Rocks, a forked branch, a wire rack, or a notched wooden frame all work as a support base. The contaminated source water goes into the clay pot at the top. It passes slowly through the porous ceramic walls over the course of 1 to 3 hours. Clean filtered water drips from the outer surface and collects in the container below. The collection container is never in contact with the source water or the outer filter surface. This two-stage separation is what makes the system safe, and it costs nothing to set up. Now compare what you just built against what the filter industry sells at retail. A LifeStraw personal filter costs around $40 and handles about 1,000 gallons. After that, it is trash, and you need to buy another one to keep the system running. A Brita pitcher filter handles about 40 gallons before the replacement cartridge is required. At $3 to $5 per cartridge, a household goes through 30 or more per year. A ceramic pot filter built from field clay and fired in an open fire costs nothing. Its useful lifespan is measured in years, not gallons and not cartridge cycles. When it eventually cracks or degrades, you collect more clay and build another one. The raw material is in the soil beneath your feet, and the firing method is fire. No supply chain, no brand, no replacement part, and no expiration date of any kind. Now look at the numbers behind what you just replaced. The global ceramic water filter market was valued at over $2 billion last year. That entire industry is built on manufacturing a process that gravity and fired clay perform. They added tolerances and testing and certification, and a retail margin on top of it, all of which serves manufacturers, retailers, and shareholders in a very specific order, none of which was required for the underlying filtration physics to function. The physics worked in ancient Egypt, and it works today, and it will work after every shelf and every outdoor retailer in North America goes permanently dark. Here's a variation most guides never reach: the layered field filter system that works even without a firing stage in true emergency. Take any container with a hole in the bottom or a small gap and layer it with materials. Coarse gravel on the bottom, followed by fine sand, followed by crushed charcoal on top. Pour contaminated water through the layers slowly and collect what passes through below. This is not ceramic filtration, and it does not remove bacteria at the same level, but it removes sediment large particles and significantly improves taste and odor. Followed by boiling the output, it produces safe drinking water with zero purchased material. Combine this with a fired clay filter, and you have a two-stage system handling everything. Sediment and large particles removed in stage 1 by the layered gravel and charcoal column. Biological contaminants and fine particles addressed in stage 2 by the ceramic wall. This is the full ancestral system, and it requires nothing from any store or any grid. One final variation for the builders in the audience. If you find high-quality clay deposits, the vessel can be refined over multiple firings. Each additional firing increases wall density and improves pathogen removal efficiency. Traditional ceramic filter craftspeople in West Africa and Central America still produce hand-fired clay water filters that test at 99% bacterial removal rates. Those same people are selling their filters to international humanitarian organizations. Because the technology works, and everyone in the water industry already knows it works. They have always known it works because they copied it. They just counted on you not knowing that the original was always available for free. Think about what you're holding right now if you build this system. The ability to process any groundwater, any stream, any collected rainwater into clean, drinkable water using nothing but what the earth provides and what fire does. No grid required, no delivery truck required, no credit card required. That level of independence is exactly what this channel was built to help you reach. Not the kind of independence you buy from a catalog, the kind you build with your hands, using what the earth has always offered. Share this video with someone in your preparedness circle or your camping group. Someone setting up an off-grid property, or a family thinking seriously about water backup. This information costs nothing to pass along, and it could change how someone survives. Subscribe if you are not on this channel yet, because more is coming every single week. Before you go, I want to make sure you have access to the Survivor's Vault. Inside, you will find every core survival system built out in complete practical depth. Water, fire, shelter, food, foraging, field medicine, and more, covered far beyond what fits here. I cannot get even a fraction of the full system into any single video. Scan the QR code in the top left corner of your screen right now, or go to the first link in the description below this video. The vault was built for the moment the filter runs out and the store is not open. When the grid has been down long enough that what you bought has already stopped working. The filter never clogs, the knowledge never expires.